Good morning, and welcome to another episode 15 of Porch Puppy Comics, where if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Our scripture reading for this morning will be Psalms, book 106, and it reads, first verse, Praise ye the Lord. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endureth forever. That's Psalms, book 106, verse 1. Read it at your leisure. And we do thank the Lord this morning for you tuning in to our Wednesday, new to me, comic book day. Everybody's celebrating the new books that's coming out. And I like to watch them to see what they got coming out every once in a while. But I still stick with what I know. And so we're going to move right on into it. Like I told you, we just coming off of the free comic book day. There was a lot of trading going on, a lot of 50% off deals going on, and it was a real good day. Only thing, wish you had more trade or a little bit more money, but still, I thank the Lord for what we was able to get, what was able to pick up. And like I said, it'll probably run on over into the new to me comic book Wednesday, and over into the Pickle Barrel Saturday as well. So we yet thank the Lord. So we're going to move right on into it this morning. And we have Warlord. These books are done by Mike Grill. As I told you, he's another great artist with an OMAC backup story. And that OMAC, for those of you who are not familiar with OMAC, was a character that was put out by Jack Kirby back in, early 70s. And it stands for One Man Army Corps. And it was a flung future type thing, superhero. Pretty good. They tried to revive him several times, even made him a full-fledged robot. I think it was several years back, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. Anyway, I do prefer this variation better than the rest of them. But yet and still, the Warlord, as you can tell with these covers, and they are newsstands, but I believe this is still in the 80s, so we can expect to see some of the newsstands a little bit more prevalent. But the Warlord here are nice books. Mike Grell's story and art. You can always tell his art, the way he draws the people, the way he draws the battle scenes, and it's always start out with a first page, and then there's a splash page. All his books that he did always ended up had a splash page in them. And if you ever pick these up in Wild, I suggest you get them. It's a good read. Our next book, if I can get them separated here we go. Our next two, Warlord again, issue 44 and 45. And these books are nice. There's something that covers a little bit blunted on the ends, just a little bit. But for the most part, these books are nice. Trying to get maybe the first 10 down the road, if I can get them in trade or, in trading comics, or get them in, if I can find them on the cheap, let's say. But these are a good set to have. Like I said, if you're into the sword and, barbarian type stuff, this has to do with a guy that was test driving a new plane that the Air Force had put out, and best that I can remember of it, he was the one broke the speed of sound and ended up when he thought he was landing. I think the plane had crash landed, and it was almost like a Savage Land type thing, but it ended up being in another dimension. So reason I was drawn to this is because here you had a guy that's from the future. Now it's being, thrown into this particular, venue, this particular thing that he's in now, to where, he had to go back and forth. I remember he would go back and forth, and he had this, I forgot what this thing was, this particular pistol he had, but he carried this pistol plus a sword plus his shield, and, and of course he fighting dinosaurs and the different elements of that time, and I mean it was different, but it was different than your normal fare, Conan or Claw or something like that. The next books Still staying in the Warlord vein with the OMAC backup story is issue 46 and 47. And again, you can tell by the covers, you can tell it's Mike Grell all day long. The next thing, we got Mystery in Space with Captain Comet. These are dollar books again, y'all. And these covers are nice. Jim Starlin did the story and I believe some of the art in it as well. And the covers are just spectacular. If you never read Captain Comet, he's been out since the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, any hero that they had out back in the day and they don't use them that much and then give them an upgrade, I like to see what it looks like and, test it out. And if you hear something in the background, that is a weed eater going outside the house. But anyway, moving on, we have the Invincible Iron Man and Star Brand number 4. Invincible Iron Man number 5 and Star Brand number 4. And this is part of the, this series here is part of the Heroes Reborn series, where most of the Image guys had come over and was doing the Marvel heroes of how they envisioned them. At first when you got into the book, it seemed like it was pretty good. Then they just kind of fell to the wayside. But I'm trying to go back and pick these sets up, the Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers. These books were really good. The art was real good in them. And I guess you can learn to appreciate them now. And of course, the Star Brand, I already told you about him. But I mean, anytime if I can find a good set, and it is a newsstand, if I can find a good set, then I'll continue to pick it up. Our next two on the docket, folks, on this new to me comic book day, is Heroes Reborn, The Avengers number 1, and Captain America 228. If I'm not mistaken, 228 of Captain America is the first appearance of the Constrictor. And you can see he's giving Cap a little run for his money. The book look like it's cut funny, because you can see up here at the top, there's a complete white line that runs all the way up at the top. And then it looks like they almost got half of the UPC down here. The newsstand almost got half of it cut off. But it's still, until I can upgrade down the road, it's in a condition that I can deal with. I always like the Constrictor, and of course, again, I like Captain America. Then we have the Heroes Reborn Avengers number 1, and this is George Perez art as well. This is a wraparound cover, and it's got all the heavy hitters in here, even some that you wouldn't think were Avengers. And some of these, a few of these that's in here, kind of branched off and kind of, with their own way. Hawkeye even ran the team. He ran his team of, what is the name of that team, folks? Thunderbolts, later on down the road. And, of course, the Heroes Reborn and the Captain America 228 are not dollar books. These were in a trade. There might be a few more dollar books popping up in there, but I'll let you know. These books that I'm showing now, these I got in trade. This is Our Army at War, featuring Sergeant Rock, 238 and 253. You see the 48 page, 25 center, and then you got the 20 cent, the 253. And I like picking up Army books every now and then, depending on who they are and what's going on with them. Really enjoy Sergeant Rock and Nick Fury, or Sergeant Fury. There was a few other ones that came out back in the day. Enemy Ace, just different things. The Haunted Tank, different things like that I enjoyed reading. Sometimes you can find a good one and find a good cover, because these books here are illustrated by the Daddy Cubert, old Joe, and it's done by the Daddy and him. So these are good books as well. The next two, you're gonna say, wait a minute, I've seen one of them before. The next two, it's Godzilla, Rulers of Earth, number 1. It's a wraparound cover as well. I like Godzilla. Always have since I was a kid. Um, the the Micronauts #8, I like the Captain Universe, and anytime I try to, if I run across one, an extra one or two, it's always good to have one or two, well, at least two of them on hand in case you decide you want to trade off one and keep the other, and like I said, again, some of these still have the regular price tags on them. I think you can barely make that one out, but this one here was $9. Now, it's not as pretty as the one that I have. It is a newsstand, but I still yet like it. It's a great book. I think the cover is kind of rolled a little bit. I was looking up here where it goes across the line, but a first appearance of Captain Universe, and like I said, I got it in trade, so I'm not going to fuss about it. It might come a time when I'd have to end up trading it off. So, but I still have one at the house, which is good. Our next books are coming up. I'm gonna save them. Let's do these. Our next books are coming up. These are nice. These books are square bound. It's an Elseworld story called The Golden Age, dealing with old 1930s, 40s heroes into the 50s. And of course, there's a conspiracy going on. There's a little murder mystery going on amongst the heroes. And, it's got a lot of the old guys in it, as you can see here: Starman, Hawkman, Sandman, the old guy, Garrick Flash, Owlman, and the original Green Lantern. And I think this is Adam down here. But then they have a lot of other characters that they brought into. And these are square bound books, as you can see. And with this being almost a completely black cover, and I mean the book is nice, corners are sharp on these. If I'm not mistaken, the majority of these books that I'm showing now were like, if some, like I said, were in trade, and then some you pay for, it might around been about the $3 mark, thereabout, but still a great book. We have 1 and 2 there, and we also have, ladies and gentlemen of the community, 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 is nice. 4 is a gold cover. You can see it look like it hasn't been read a whole lot. There's a line that runs right down the square bound. So if you want to consider that a spine tick, I guess that's what it would be. But the corners are yet sharp on these books, because sometimes they could have gotten blunted. But it's yet still a good book. It's a great book to sit down and just read and enjoy, and just have fun with it. All right. Let's move on to something else here. Let's try these two. I've been looking for this Contest of Champions #1 for a long time. Just couldn't find the price point that I wanted it in. And where I got this one, he had about 3 others, and it looked like each one was better than the other. This one here was in my price range. I could deal with it, so I ended up picking it up. I will upgrade, because you can still tell, right up here where the white is kind of tan looking. But this book here, it premiered a lot of first appearances in this one book. Even started bringing out heroes from different countries. And it was a real good book to read. And it's only 3 issues. I've got the other 2. I'll probably show them all again later on down the road, Lord bless. But over here we have Green Lantern, Green Arrow, 110. Again, Mike Grell art, yet dealing with the original Green Lantern as a backup story. Always liked this particular run, even back in the day. That's where John Stewart made his appearance in the pages of this book. And I'm telling you, these books here are nice. The storyline is good. This is the reason why I think I like the comics like they were, instead of, going on to what they used to be, because sometimes they just, I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. Green Lantern, 150 and 200. And these books here, I don't see them out in the wild a whole lot. You may have, or you may in your geographical area, but we don't see them much around here. So anytime I do see them, the 150 or the 200, I try to go ahead and pick them up, because they are indeed great books. And, if you like, you're a Green Lantern fan, I am. You'll like them, especially the older versions of them. It was just a good read, and I guess it's simple story. You want to keep with a simple story. Let me move these out of the way, y'all. You want to keep with a simple story so you can, not saying that yours truly over here is simple minded, but you deal with a lot of stuff during the course of your day. And the one thing that, now this is just with me, and you can comment. That's another thing I have to remember to keep telling you all: like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment, and and we can discuss. Because sometimes a lot of these books here I just can't deal with the way they do things now. These next two folks, Marvel Team Up, number 2 and number 4. You can tell the spine is rolled on this one. The white in here is kind of, it's tanned up and everything. But one thing I found out as I got these books, usually most people will let you look into the books and you can open the bags and trade. And I know there's folks out, and look and check the book out, make sure the value stamp and everything is in there. But some places you go to, the bag is completely sealed with packing tape. So, I mean, the only way that you can get into that bag is I literally slice the top of the bag open, pull the book out, and slide it back in. But there's a lot of unsavory characters out there amongst it. Y'all know how it is. It's running amongst us in the community that sometimes they feel like the only way they can get a good deal is by swapping out the bags for a lower price. Seen it done, had it done. And like I said, I've had my first share of switch outs and swap outs, even on eBay. But this particular book, after I got it in and was going to take the bag off of it, you look through the book. I had to cut the books out of the bags. And this number 2, guess what, y'all? The cover is detached. Wasn't no mention of it nowhere about the cover being detached. I can deal with the roll and different things, but the cover is detached. I mean, if you look at it, just from looking on the outside, you think that you can see the staples, everything is tight, good to go, with the exception of how the book is, which, like I told you, the condition I can deal with. But now, come on. You got to let me leave a note or leave some kind of notation that the book is detached if you're going to seal it up. If people are swapping out books and different things like that, at least let me know, And I guess I could have went up there and asked them to cut the bag open and let me examine the book. But when you're trading and you or even, if you're buying a book for 50 cents for $1 or something, if it's water damaged some and got a little moisture, the value stamp is cut out of it, or, even with this, the cover's detached. Well, even in that, if you're going to spend a 50 cent or $1, okay, well, you get what you pay for. But anything past that dollar price point, I'm thinking you still need to know. At least let me know what you're getting. And then I can make the conscious decision of whether I want to go ahead and pick the book up anyway, because that's, to me, that's a big waste. And I the Porch Puppy, don't really appreciate that. But anyway, we move on. Avengers 124, Prince Namor, the Savage Submariner, number 66. Here's another character I've always liked, Orca. It says, the human killer whale. Orca was big. I think this, when the movie came out back in 1976, between 76, 78, maybe further back. Y'all hit me up in the comments and let me know. But they done the Orca up pretty good. And always like this version of Submariner. I don't know what they done with Subby now. We're going to leave that alone. That's something for another day. The Avengers, the 124. Older Avengers like this, I always like to pick up if I can. Sometimes I'm not really much on the art, depending on, what's going on with it. But the storyline's pretty good. This here, I think, is more of a fill-in with this Stalker. It's just like a dinosaur alien that the Avengers have to fight. And then, if it looks like a dinosaur, you done got me in already. I'm good to go. Okay. Our next two books, which I was really glad to find these and pick them up. Again, like I said, doing it in trade. Captain Canuck. Why Captain Canuck? I have no earthly idea. Collected it when the book first came out. I think back in the late 70s when it first came out. Late 70s, early 80s. And brother Rob had these in his boxes. And I said, well, he had the first issue. I'm finding everything below all these numbers, but this first issue and then the second issue. Still not really familiar with a lot of the backup characters in Captain Canuck. I know they tried to reboot them and tried to do them over, but this is just, one of them nostalgia pickup books, I call it. And it's just one of them things you just, you really love to pick up. I'm going to go ahead and do this like this. Here's Captain Canuck number 3. These are 35-cent Canadian books by Comely Comics. And, I guess, the Canadians, we got Captain America. I figured they had to have their Captain Canuck too. So, and it's I got laughed at a bunch of times because I collected a whole lot of stuff that wasn't mainstream. That folks, if you wasn't collecting Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or Superman or Batman, then you was kind of pretty much laughed at, But I mean, I collected some stuff that was different, stuff that I wanted to read. Our next books that we're coming up with, these will be the last 6 of this run of the day. Was another set. Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. Issues 1 and 2. Issues 3 and 4. And issues 5 and 6. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only 1 or maybe 2 out of this set that's not a newsstand. And when I saw them all, I had to go ahead and pick them up. These books are sharp, y'all. I thank the Lord for, the people that the Lord put me in place of, and to trade with and become friends with over the years, because it's just something, and you run in and they treat you good and you treat them good, try to bring them in good trade, different things they can either trade for or turn around and sell. And then you get what you want. Sometimes, they give you, a far better deal than you're expecting, and I thank the Lord for that. And like I said, I picked these up because this is taking place over in Japan. Now, when Kitty Pryde first came out and she first joined the X-Men, I think it was in X-Men 139 maybe. When she first joined the X-Men, I just wasn't really, okay, so she can phase, it might come in handy. Then they try to have I guess you call it a little love romance thing going on with her and Colossus, which I guess it did for a little while. And, but she's, I guess, as the years come on, she come into her own. And this is during the time where, Wolverine was just beginning to get really oversaturated. And, so I say with him, as well as Spider-Man, as well as Batman, as well as Venom, as well as Harley Quinn, as well as every character that you see nowadays that's on in somebody's book, or they either have 4 or 5 other books, how you keep the continuity straight on that. But, this is another story, okay, where they may have a little notation that this took place before X-Men, and that's all well and good. But, sometimes if you just go ahead and you find a run, it takes you back when you was younger. Because that's what really, I guess, with us older guys collecting comics and have been collecting for a long time, is picking up stuff that we just wanted but never was able to get. Maybe not had the money or maybe not had access to. Because like I said, where we are at the particular time, there was no comic shops in town. You had bookstores that you had to go to. And there was a lady here in town, the name of Gibbons Book Exchange. And we know it was the biggest thing. I guess you talking about, this is little small town boys. But it went through like wildfire, man. We didn't have cell phones or nothing like that. We got on that landline and folks kept calling each other. Hey, man, Mrs. Givens just done got a new stack of books in. You know, she done got this in. And I think most of the people that was collecting comics around this particular time had set up, was going, and keep in mind, y'all, we wasn't driving at that particular time. So, you know, it was only when your parents was making a run, you know, to I think at that particular time, Kroger's and different places like that was, you know, out of town, at least another 20-minute drive out of town. So, you know, you 20 minutes and then you had to get up there and then that's where you were. So, you know, you go up there and she would sell the books for 10 cents a piece. And I'm talking about, you know, Silver Age, Bronze Age books, 10 cents a piece. And I remember my brother Jamie calling me and told me he done picked up the 95th issue of X-Men for 10 cents. And that book looked like you just bought it off the shelf. I mean, stuff like that you just don't never run across anymore. But just having the opportunity and thanking the Lord that we was able to get it and get it done. But anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Hope I ain't run my mouth too much for this new to me comic book day. I leave you with the scripture coming out of Psalms again, 107. And the first and second verse is, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, who he has redeemed from the hand of the enemy." May the Lord forever bless the reading of his holy word. Community, I'm yet praying for you. I yet again thank you for me being a new kid on the block. Let's tune in. Let's, you know, we support. Again, like I said, there's a lot of things going on out in the world, but Jesus Christ is the only one that can fill that void in your life. He is the only one. It can't be found in nothing else. And he will help you. I was thinking about it today. You know, things that we done went through, disappointments we done had, loved ones we done lost, situations that done took place. If it hadn't have been for the Lord, if it hadn't have been for me being able to turn to him, to talk to him, to take comfort, him giving me peace of mind, I don't know where I would be today. Probably wouldn't be sitting up here talking to you about how good God is or showing you comic books. So we yet thank the Lord. Let us be able to tune in, if it be the will of the Lord, for Saturday, for Pickle Barrel Saturday, because what do we say about Pickle Barrel Saturday? Look, you don't know what's in the pickle barrel until you're taking the lid off in it. So if it be the will of the Lord, we will see you Saturday morning, and y'all have a blessed day. And remember, Jesus loves you and he cares. God bless you, community. God bless you.